This episode is brought to you by Red Bike Delivery. This delivery service operates only using battery-powered, eco-friendly transportation. Red Bike Delivery is there for all your delivery needs, whether it's dinner for the family, flowers for your partner, or new houseplants for your new collection. Red Bike Delivery will gladly deliver those and everything in between. So what are you waiting for? Check out Red Bike Delivery on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Red Bike Delivery, because there's only one Earth. I am interviewing Keyana Pugh today. She is a multiple business owner here in Lansing, Michigan. Um, I don't even want to try to butcher what she has done. She started 3 different businesses, right? 3. So I guess with that being said, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
It's kind of cold outside and wet and gross. So
Yeah,
thank you
and
for coming out in this.
no problem.
um, Now, when I met you at the Fledge doing an event a couple weeks ago, and you kind of stuck out to me because you've started multiple businesses, and I'm like, man, she looks really young, and she has 3 different things going. This is insane. So, do you mind kind of telling people? Actually, first, let's tell people who you are, where you're from, and then we'll kind of get into what you've started.
Okay. So my name is Kiana. I'm from Lansing, Michigan, and I graduated in 2020 from Everett High School.
How was that like with COVID?
It sucked. I feel like I've been telling everybody like I get PTSD when I'm watching TV and I see them graduating or going to prom because I'm like, turn that off. That's not fair.
You didn't get to
So
do any of that.
yeah.
Oh
So
man. They didn't have anything really virtual at that time, right?
no, unfortunately they didn't. So,
Wow. That's
but I
crazy.
mean it's all right because hopefully our like I think it's like they do 20 or 30 year reunion or something. Maybe that'll be big.
You get to look forward to that.
Yeah, that gives me something to look forward to, I
Oh
guess.
my gosh.
Now I don't
That,
have a reason to say like I can't go there. So
wow. I mean, I guess I didn't go to prom at all, so I don't feel like I wasn't missing out on anything,
yeah,
but yeah, that would suck.
yeah,
So you graduated in 2020, and you have been busy ever since, right?
yeah.
What have you been up to?
Well, actually, the busyness started in high school, so like it's kind of mellowed out right now, actually. But right now I am a student at LCC, so I'm going to get my associate's degree. I'll transfer and get a higher degree, but I am right now getting my associate's degree for business management, and then I'm
Oh,
going to
cool.
minor in sign language and journalism.
Wow.
Um,
Why sign language?
well, the first job that I had, we always had like these people that came in and we couldn't communicate with them. It was always this one manager. And I figured if I'm going to have my own business, I want to be able to communicate with everyone. So I want to learn sign language.
Yeah, I think that's a really good skill to learn in good language. Many people don't think about it because, I mean, it's just they don't really think too much about the deaf.
Yeah.
My sister, it's kind of funny. My sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, both went to college for sign language, and they ended up with a kid that's deaf.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind
that's
of
like
crazy.
perfect
It's
though.
so perfect. I guess it couldn't have happened to a better person.
Yeah. At
Um,
least they can say their degree didn't go to waste.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what kind of businesses have you started, and what kind of businesses do you want? Do you want to continue with this later on, or do you what is your goals?
Well, yeah, like I feel like right now, since I'm so young, there's a couple businesses that I want to start like when I'm of age for these businesses. So like I want to
How old
like
are you?
I'm 19. So when I turn 21, like I want to do like a wine and all that stuff. So there's a couple things that I have to wait for. But
You can't start a wine business when you're 18 or 19.
I just don't want to put out a product that I don't know what it tastes
Oh,
like.
fair
I
enough.
feel like yeah, if the person that's selling it can't like tell you, okay, it's nasty or no, I would recommend this one. You probably shouldn't. I wouldn't buy it if you can't tell me what it's like. So,
So you said you started something in high school. What did you start?
so I started customizing items, so like phone cases and T-shirts and things like that, through Hill Vocational Center. I I think I was in like ninth, no, 10th or 11th grade when I started that.
Wow.
So yeah, I just
And what made you want to start that? Have you always kind of had a like entrepreneurial mindset?
mm, I honestly I didn't like know what entrepreneurship was. I always knew like there was a way to like odd jobs like get money and stuff, but like at that time I was just like I've always been really creative, so like joining that class and then people were like, "Hey, can you make me this?" when they would see that I had it. So then I just made a Facebook page of it and I kind of started a business with it. So I didn't know it was a business though. I was just like, "Oh, I'm making some extra money."
So did you actually form an LLC and all that while you're in school?
Not for that business,
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
as I was like developing it and stuff, and I realized that this is something that you can do for a career.
Yeah.
I was kind of like when I thought about it, I'm like when I'm 30 or 40, I don't see myself like doing shirts. Like I wanted to do
Right.
something a little different, so that was just like a side hustle kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. And so you were just making clothing, phone cases, and things of that sorts, right?
Yep.
That's cool. And then you got out of high school, and then what?
When I got out of high school, that's when we were like in the quarantine thing, and I was in the 517 group, and I saw a post about the Fledge. They were doing like the 99 Problems thing,
Okay.
and I had this idea of like opening a hotel, but I was like, oh, I never mentioned it before, so I went on there and I mentioned it,
What made you
and
want to? You haven't really talked about it on the podcast yet, but what kind of brought that to light? Why did you think that you wanted to start that?
So opening the hotel for me, me and my family, we travel a lot, and there's like so many of us in like age groups, and I would notice that like there was things for one age group to do, but not for the other, and I kind of realized that in Lansing we don't really have anything like that, so I was like, oh, that's something new and different that I can do, and I actually see myself doing that in the future. Plus, I like being in the community, and I felt like that was a way for me to not only make a living but also be involved in the community, like I like. So,
So when you decided that you were going to go down to the 99, what is it?
99 problems,
No,
but a pitch ain't one.
okay, that's right. When you decided that you were going to go to that, what happened? Did they help you like start the business?
So when I pitched it, I won. It kind of gave me a little confidence to
How
like.
does I'm sorry, I can't, I have questions.
No, it's fine.
How does that work? 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one. How does that work?
So anyone can come and join on the Zoom link or whatever the link was.
Okay.
And you pitch your idea. It can be anything, a business or organization, whatever, and the audience will vote on it. So the audience gets two people to vote on, and then they will decide who won off of that, or if they need to do a tiebreaker and all of that. So
And then what? What happens then?
the person that won gets $99 towards
Oh,
their business or whatever they pitched.
wow. That's cool. And that's something that Jerry's funding, right?
Mhm.
Jerry does that?
Yep.
That's cool. And do they help you like setting up the business?
I mean, I'm not sure about others, but I know like for me, I made sure that I kind of stayed connected with them, and they have helped me in a lot of different ways. But I'm not sure if that's something that like it comes with the 99 problems things, or if
Oh,
everyone
okay.
has to do it. But I mean, you would be crazy not to. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
What's crazy is before I started this podcast, I'd never heard about the Fledge, never heard about
Yeah.
anything like that. And then I found out about it as soon as I started doing some episodes with people here locally. And I'm like, man, that's a really the Fledge is like a really cool. It's really I guess I kind of call it like a community center for underprivileged people or just
Yeah.
people in the community who want to better their lives. Isn't that what it is?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they call it like a community incubator.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, it's just like it's perfect. When I found out about it, I was like, wow, how did I not know about this? And
Yeah, how do you not?
yeah, you kind of feel like, have you been living under a rock? So
It's kind of crazy too, because when I actually went there, because I did Jerry's podcast, and I'm like, this is here? Like, I drive by that all the time, and like, I mean, drive by like Sparrow or whatever,
yeah,
and I've never noticed the Fledge there.
yeah.
It's kind
Now
of
they
crazy.
have that like cool mural, so you kind
Yeah,
of can't miss it now. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's really cool because it, like you said, it's an incubator
Mhm.
for good ideas and for entrepreneurs here in our community and whatnot.
Mhm.
So with the hotel, what happened when you just after you won the 99 problems but a pitch ain't one? What happened after that?
I mean that, like I said, it kind of gave me the confidence to like, oh, okay, so like other people, like I never really said it to anyone outside of like family and friends, or like I mentioned it and people were like, what?
You're crazy.
So to
That's never
like
gonna happen.
say it to someone and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we like totally believe in this. Here's this $99 to like see where you can take it with that. And I just kind of made sure I got a logo, a LLC, and all those different things. And
You
um,
did all that for $99?
yeah, not just with the $99. I went to a couple different competitions, and
Oh, okay.
through the Fledge, I was able to like meet with Elite, I think it's called.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
then I went into the one and all cohort,
Uh-huh.
and that gave you, I think it was $2,500. So I was able to grow it with that and just little grants and seeds here and there.
So, do other people in the community, obviously the people who were at the 99 problems but a pitch ain't one thought it was a great idea.
Hmm.
But have other people in the community that you like cuz I know you go to events all the time or you're also you said you were working with the Leap. Do they what did they think about the hotel and the like I know you explained it to me as like a resort, like you want it to be kind of like a resort.
Hmm.
What did they think about that?
So like I kind of just started like going out in public and mentioning it to people
Okay.
because I really didn't know how to say it, because it was like one of those things, it's like something, you know what you want to say in your head, but like
Right.
if I was to tell you what I want to say in what's in my head, you'll be like, "What is wrong with you? Like, are you going crazy?" So,
Not at all. You should hear me on this podcast most of the time. I'm like, the is that a sentence? I don't think I should have said it like that.
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So since I've like been um going to people and telling them about it, they seem to be pretty excited about it. They give me ideas on what they think I should change about it, or how they think it could positively impact our community and things. So so far so good. That's one of the reasons why I try to make sure I go to the events, just so I can get the feedback and impact on what everyone thinks the idea should be.
Now, do you have like a location that you have in mind, somewhere like within like mid Lansing or like West Lansing or like where are you looking to start this?
Well, I want to do it on the south side of Lansing,
Okay.
just because that's where I'm located, and
Okay.
I've been able to like see with my own eyes like what we need in that community.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with other sides of Lansing, but that's a community that I really feel like it
Yeah.
has so much potential, but it just lacks all of the things that we need. And for the location wise, I was really hoping to be able to utilize one of the abandoned school buildings, just because I did some research, and from what I was able to collect, that money would go to the Lansing School District. So that means I'll be supporting,
Local.
the community like I'm hoping to do with the business. So,
Now, when you are looking uh to put a hotel like in a school, obviously that you have to renovate the place, right?
mm,
Um, and you would probably have to buy the place, right?
yeah.
So is that expensive? Is it-
Well, there's a few buildings that like the old Shabazz building. That's not through
Oh,
the
okay.
Lansing School District, but the old Shabazz building that is for auction and different buildings
Oh,
like that that you have to like snag a deal with them and things, and then just
right.
doing community partnerships and making sure that you're connected with the right people. I mean, you'll be able to find a good bargain on certain things, and then other things you'll just have to. It's a gamble.
Do you know what would be a good spot? Um, for maybe not a hotel, but maybe like a kind of like maybe like a fun place where you have like laser tag and like goat carts, kind of like what they have in the Meridian Mall right now.
Mhm.
Is that old skating rink right there on MLK, uh, just past Jolly, going.
Oh, okay.
Is it MLK or is that?
Are you talking about in that plaza?
It's right across the street from the plaza.
Okay,
Like
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I think that'd be a good spot.
Yeah, it would.
I
I
used,
was looking at the old Sam's building as well.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, that'd be a good spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause
Uh,
what the hotel is, it's not just a hotel. I don't think I ever really explained that.
No, you didn't. Let's talk about it.
So it's like a community based hotel. I actually just learned that like there's something similar to it, but they call it like hostels. So it's a
Okay.
community based hotel where on one side it'll be your typical hotel, restaurant, entertainment centers, and all that, and then on the other side we would utilize that space for a community center. So that way it's fulfilling the wants of fun, but also the needs of community resources. So.
Okay. But you would have rooms there too for people to stay?
Mhm.
Okay.
So that way, if you want to come to the hotel just to play laser tag,
Mhm.
you can. If you want to just come to grab a bite to eat, you can. If you want a room, you can. If you just need a place to like stay, I'm hoping to be able to have like a shelter space on that community center side so that you can. Just so it's kind of a one-stop shop.
Right. Now, when you're wanting to do something like that, I mean, obviously you're just starting, right?
Mhm.
Would Are you looking at getting partnerships with like restaurants to like you said, because there would be like restaurants in there? Would
Mhm.
you like want like restaurants to open up within the hotel, like, or would you want it to be your own restaurants?
Yeah, so like I
Are
have
you
a few friends and family members that are wanting to open restaurants, so I would like want them to come in and like utilize their talents to take up that space and rent that space out.
okay?
And I mean, it'll be inside the hotel, but that's less like work on me. So
Yeah.
and then like even for the community center side to be able to say, "Hey, if you need this space, here's a space for you to rent out." So it won't all be mine. I like to tell people I'm just doing all the work, but
For
it'll
other
be
people.
all of our businesses. So.
Right. You're essentially creating a space for other people to come in and flourish,
Mhm.
for other people to start a business and to be able to make a living and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, my wife and I had always talked about how Lansing needs more things, like as far as like, because like wintertime, I mean, there's plenty of things to do in Lansing, but like in the summertime, you have like splash pads, like at you got one at Hawk Island,
Yep.
but it closes down because it's wintertime.
Mhm.
So like you need something that's year round. I
Yeah.
mean, and the only thing I think we really have is like the Meridian Mall has that go kart thing, or like the jump places, or
Yeah.
maybe laser tag.
And that's what I was telling a lot of people. Like the things that we do have, it's in East Lansing or Okemos, and the bus doesn't always like take you that far at a certain time. So
Mm.
like for those inner city residents that don't have that transportation and stuff, it's kind of hard. And then it's expensive to put 5 kids on a bus and then pay $30 for a ticket for entrance fee. It's like it's
Right,
crazy.
right. um, yeah, that is crazy. I was gonna say something. I don't remember what I was gonna say now. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool because, like I said, there's not much to do here in Lansing, and I'm trying to backtrack my thoughts. I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
You'll think of it
I will.
later.
So how far along are you on this project?
With the hotel.
Yeah, I seen that you had posted on Facebook the other day that you went to something and it got denied or
Yeah.
it didn't quite work out.
I was participating in a pitch competition, and
Oh, okay.
unfortunately, I didn't win. But that was just like it was a larger amount of money, and there were 100 contestants. So like, I like to think of it. At least I made it that far. So right now I'm in the stage of I just created some signature room sprays and hand soaps. So it's like a signature scents, and then
Mm.
I created
How
a
do you create
signature
those?
beverage. I'm working with Bridget Dole. She helped me make the scents. She
Hmm.
has a business where she does that. So
Oh,
um, I let her know like, hey, I'm looking to get this kind of scent. And we kind of worked together to make sure that it came out right.
oh, cool. And you said hand soaps and the
Mm.
lotions and stuff like that,
Um,
like things
n-
you'd see in a hotel room.
yeah, the lotions aren't ready yet, but I'm hoping to do those in incense. So
Okay. And this was Brid. You said Bridget who?
Bridget Dole. I
Uh,
might be pronouncing her last name wrong,
Sorry,
but
Bridget. What's the name of her business?
I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. I always like talk to her personally, so I never
Oh,
like
okay.
went through her.
Well, that's cool.
I'll figure it out and I'll like let you
All right.
know.
You'll do what Jeremy did today when I posted his episode. Him and I were talking about an event that happens in Old Town, and it was he was on the podcast. He was like trying to think. He's like, what's that event called? And he's like, it'll come to me eventually.
Yeah.
And then today when I posted the podcast, he commented on the video and was like, Scrap Fest, and I'm like, for a minute, I'm like, what is he talking about? Oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. It's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really long rant. But so you also wrote a book. Where how did that come about? What inspired you to do that? And what is it about?
So the book idea, I actually started writing the book. I was like at home on the quarantine and everything, 'cause I had COVID when I first started
Oh,
it. So I'm like, I'm on lockdown. I have nothing to do, and I like hate being in one spot and like not being busy. So that was kind of like something like, okay, I'm just gonna like write this book. And I had a writing coach. Her name
wow.
is Tara. So she helped me through the process
What
of the
what is
writing.
what does a writing coach do? Because
Um,
I've been curious about writing a book, and I don't know like how to start and where to start necessarily. So, what does a writing coach do? Do they help you with that process?
yeah, she helped me through the process and like they gave me suggestions on proofreads and all that
Mm.
things. And then I actually went through one of my former teachers, Miss Shaver, to do the editing portion of the book. So
Wow, she was willing
um,
to do that.
yeah, she's pretty dope. So just working with the both of them and making sure that the book got done that way.
What's up, Joy? Oh, okay. He was intently looking at the screen, so I was like, "There's something wrong." It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
So, she helped you with the editing. What is the book called?
The book is called Behind the Hustle.
I love that name. Um, how did you come up with that?
Well, I came up. I wanted to use the word hustle because I feel like a lot of people, when you think of that word, you have like this negative thought from it, and just in
What do you
the
mean?
a lot of people when like I tell them what the name of the book is, they're like hustle. Like, why'd you use that word? Because they usually think of like that grimy person that's just like getting it by any means
But I
type
think
thing.
that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody who's struggling and like they're just like doing whatever they can to like get by and they're working hard. That's how I
Yeah.
picture that word.
Yeah, that's how I've always pictured it as well. But then, like, there's a lot of other people where they're like, I don't like that word. Like, they always think negatively about it. So I wanted
Are
to,
they
like,
snooby kind of people?
yeah. I wanted to use that word so it'll be like something, I don't want to say like forced or like, a word that like we start to use in our vocabulary in a positive way more
Right.
often. Because I don't think it's negative, and I think that that's something that like we all have some form of hustle in us.
Or not.
So
Some people don't.
most of us,
most most
hopefully.
most people when they're ambitious about something or they have a passion about something, they want to hustle, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't look at it as like a bad thing unless you're like referring to like maybe drugs, like oh he's hustling drugs or
yeah.
he's hustling. I don't know.
And that could
Is
be, but like,
maybe
yeah, but I feel like taking that nasty narrative away and like putting it
right.
into this positive word. I mean, like,
Right,
and,
and it's something. I mean, I guess that's more of a word for like younger generations,
mhm.
like us, right? So I guess older people probably look at it like, oh, like they're selling drugs. That's probably what that book's about. but but in reality, it's like you're not talking to old people. You're talking to young people who are in college and high school, and you're trying to guide them into helping them choose a direction in life, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I feel like I was gonna say like behind the business or something
that's
like that,
boring,
but then I thought like everyone doesn't have a business, like, but
right?
most of us have a hustle, so more people will be able to relate to that, to like, oh, okay, yeah.
What would you consider a hustle? Like something you make money doing?
Not necessarily. Like just something like you said. I think you said it a second ago. Something you have a passion about doing.
Yeah,
Like finishing up. Like right now, I'm like I have this like hustle and this drive to like get the hotel thing started. So
right.
just having like this passion for something.
How long has your book been out?
I think I released it in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you had pretty good feedback about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you?
Right now, I'm teaching a class in
Wow.
Foster Community Center through the book. So.
Wow. Is that what you have with you?
Yeah,
Can you show it?
which this is the camera right
That
here.
looks so nice.
Yeah. So, and I did the cover and I designed all that by myself. So,
Wow.
shout out to Hill Vocational Center for teaching me that as well.
Wow. That is cool. Can I see that?
Of course.
And you said it's like there's things for you to yeah, like work pages and stuff.
Mhm.
So can you explain what this is? The book?
Yeah. So, the book is just really to help you. When I first got started, figuring out what entrepreneurship and stuff was, I was doing a school project, with my senior English class, and my teacher, Miss Hall, assigned us a project to do job shadows. And that like helped me so much because I realized like entrepreneurship is what I want to do. And a lot of people, when I explained to them that I did this job shadow, they're like, "What is a job shadow?" And I feel like that's important for people to like understand. You have these people that are always like, "Yeah, I changed my major in college 5 times and
Right.
things." So when you do a job shadow and you're like, "Okay, this is what I want to do," that eliminates that process of like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna like change my major all these times," and you're ready to get like straight into it. And it also eliminates the process of doing something that like you hate to do. Like
Mhm.
I don't want people to be 30 and they're like, I hate my job. I want people to like have a passion for what they're doing and actually
Right.
want to do it. So the book is just to give you that advice to take those lessons, and telling people that losing is okay, because I feel like we all hate to lose, but it's actually okay.
I think
um
it's more than okay. I think it's a good thing to lose
yeah.
because then it teaches you many things. It teaches you how to handle to lose,
Mhm.
and it teaches you that if you lose, and some people don't get back up, but it teaches you to okay, I need to do better. I need to get up and go at it again.
Yeah. So, and that's like super important because everyone
Yeah.
thinks if you don't lose, like that means you failed or like you didn't do something right, and that means like, oh, you have to quit. But it's not true. That just means like you got to take it, using, I know a lot of kids say like L, you like got to take your L. So like instead of saying like I took my L and defining the L as a loss, like just
Right.
define it as a lesson. That's
Right. I like that.
yeah.
That's I like that. I'm gonna have to use that. You're gonna have to take the L. You're right. It's a lesson.
Yeah. So like in the book, there's a lot of like although it is for everyone to be able to figure out how to navigate through their careers.
Mhm.
Since I am more like educated on entrepreneurship, it does promote that and targets that. But I do make it very clear that like working a 9 to 5 is a okay goal to have.
Mhm.
I feel like that's very important, and a lot of us like we um, tell people like you have to have a business in order to be successful, but we need garbage men and like convenience store workers and things like that. So the book is just really to help you understand, is
Mhm.
this what you want to do, or is that what you want to do, and how
Right.
to like reach that goal and figure out how to be the best that you can be in that. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people want to start businesses, but then they don't understand like the work ethic that you have to put into it.
mhm.
It's hard work, right?
Yeah. And
It
it's super tiring, and like it's like
it's nonstop.
yeah.
It's no matter what, you have something to do. No matter what.
It's
Uh,
as soon as you think like, oh, I'm finally done, it's like, oh my god, this list is never gonna be over. So
I was talking to Lauren. She owns Skin Studio. She
mhm.
came in here, and she was like, "You would." She's like, "You would think that like owning a business, I would have all this time." She's like, "But the hardest part about owning a business is trying to figure out how to plan your time." She's
Yeah.
like, "You have all this time, but then you got to figure out, all right, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do today, or what am I gonna do right now?" She said that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
It's trying
it
to
is.
delegate your time.
You're like, I have 5 million things to do, and they all have to be done at this date. But like, which one do I want to do
Right,
first?
right.
Plus, you like, of course, you want to have a personal life and all that. So
Yeah,
I mean,
makes it hard.
yeah,
How do you have a personal life with all this stuff going on? You have a book, you're teaching a class on it. You have you have two other businesses
yeah.
on top of it.
I mean, like, I take my computer or my iPad everywhere I go. So
So you
like
work everywhere you go. Oh my gosh.
my family and friends, they hate it because I'm like, I gotta join this Zoom meeting at 3 o'clock, but yeah, I'll go with you. So like we were in Florida, and like we're out having fun, and I'm like, I gotta go to the car so I can join the Zoom meeting. Everybody's like, you're on vacation. I'm like, but I have to finish this. So I mean, getting my schoolwork and everything done for me, it's not a challenge because I do have that support from my
Oh
friends
yeah,
and
and you're in
family.
school. I forgot.
Yeah. So I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
gosh.
easy.
And you don't have any kids or anything.
No, I do like to say that I do have kids because I have 9 nieces and nephews, and so I
Did
like to try to make sure that I'm spending as much time with them and giving them as many examples as I can in life so that they can also succeed. So those are in a way my kids.
well, I think that them growing up and seeing how hard you hustle,
Yeah.
they'll I think that'll teach them a lesson. I think they'll be like they'll appreciate somebody who works hard for what they want,
Yeah.
and then obviously you'll be able to teach them all the life lessons from
Yeah.
your
Oh,
book.
yeah. And they're so supportive that like they bought themselves a book, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
you
so
can
cool.
have it. They're like, no, I want to buy it because I want you to get rich one day.
And spend money on me.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what makes it the easiest, just having like that support from friends and family, and
Yeah.
knowing that like you have those people that have your back even when like I can't do certain things. Like they're like, okay, I can do it for you, or I can knock this out for you. They're like my little minions. They're always like running around the house helping me out. And
That's
then
cool.
my family, they're always at the pop-up shops helping me set up tables and giving me rides because I don't know how to drive yet.
What? Why?
I
You just haven't had time?
I well, okay, so when I was in high school, my dad was like, "Do you want me to buy?" Because I was getting ready to graduate and I wasn't gonna be able to go to Heal as much. So my dad's like, "Do you want me to buy you this machine for at home so you can make shirts, or do you want me to pay for driver's ed?" And I'm like, "I want you to buy me the machine." So I got the machine, and I just like I've been too busy to like take that time and go to driver's ed. Like when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, school, or like I got an internship, or like so much was happening, and it's always kind of like it gets pushed on the back burner. But I think my parents are getting tired of me, so I'm like, I have a meeting every day, so I'm gonna have to do it. So
I think because you're an adult now, you can just go and take the test. That's what I did.
yeah,
Because I moved out when I was 17, and I never had the opportunity to take a driver's training. And so I had a couple roommates that were older, and they taught me. They take illegally take me out on the road and whatnot. And so I kind of knew, but knew like how to drive.
yeah,
So then I just had to go take the written test and then take the driving test, and I passed.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's a freedom, like being able to drive, like, and being able to be like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the store real quick and get in the car and go. It's always nice.
yeah.
I couldn't imagine not having a driver's license.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I can't imagine having one. I'm like, I'm the youngest child, so like I'm kind of spoiled, and I'm like used to like them like always being there.
The
I think
chauffeurs.
that's another reason why like I don't want to do it, because I'm kind of like I don't want to go to the store by myself. Like that's weird. Like I hate when my mom doesn't go inside the store with me. I'm like.
You want me to go for you? No.
Like I don't think I'm ready for that.
That's hilarious because you own two businesses, wrote a book, you're pretty independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go in the store or drive.
I don't want to do anything by myself. I'm like really clingy when it comes to like being around my family and stuff. So, like just to even think about like the fact that like I like my mom told me that I'm gonna have to go to a doctor's appointment by myself, and I'm like, what? What do I say? What do I need to take? So, I
That's
mean,
hilarious. That's funny. I think that's the thing. It's like with younger people, and I'm not old, but I'm older than you.
yeah,
And the thing is with like younger people, I've noticed they don't like to drive. Like it seems to be that they drive later on in life.
yeah,
Like I remember when I was a teenager, kids wanted to drive. They wanted to get out of the house and get their first car, and it was like a freedom. Like I don't know, it was strange.
yeah.
Like everybody did it. Everybody took driver's training when they were 15 or whatever, and then they had their license by the time they were 17,
Yeah.
and they all had cars. Now it's like kids don't really care.
They depend on like Uber and Lyft and
Yeah,
everything like that.
that
I'm
might
too
be.
scared to do that though. So like.
I don't blame you. Nobody wants to get in the back of a stranger's vehicle.
Yeah, and like my mom, like I was gonna do it one day, and she's like, "There's too many highways over here," so I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, that's funny. Now, can people buy your book online, or how are you selling it?
Yeah, you can buy it through me, or you can buy it on Amazon.
Okay. And do you have a website for any of your businesses?
No, not yet. I always slack on that. I only have Facebook and Instagram, but
Okay, so
I am working on getting a website. The reason why I don't have a website is because I want one website for all of the businesses, and I
Right.
always add a business on, so it's kind of like, okay, I gotta get my stuff for that one. So I think I'm all set for now for a few years, so I'll go ahead and like get that started, and you'll be able to go to the one link for everything.
Oh, cool. Um, yeah, that's really cool. So do you promote all your stuff on social media right now?
Mhm.
Okay.
On Facebook and Instagram, or like I go to pop-up shop events. So
Okay. And you said you're going to one this weekend, right?
yes, the Fledge is hosting the wellness one.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. What's that one about?
I think it's just pretty much resources that have to do with building each other up and things. So I know like Nature's 92. She's gonna be there with her CMOS. I believe Power and Passion will be there.
Oh, cool.
There's a few different businesses
I need
that'll
to
be
reach
there.
out to them.
Power and Passion.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Katie is awesome.
I interviewed Adam Grant, who he was in prison for like 20 some years.
Mhm.
And he told me he's like, you need to invite her on.
Yeah.
And I think I emailed her, but I didn't get a response. So if you're there, just give her a little nudge.
I will.
And is that inside or is that outside?
I think it's an inside,
I would hope so.
outside event going. Like
Oh, okay.
some will be inside, some will be outside. I think I'm not 100%
Are you gonna be
sure.
inside or outside?
I hope I'm inside, but I think we were like communicating about a tent, so I might be
Mm,
outside.
I'm sorry. That last event that we went to was cold and
Yeah,
windy.
and windy. Everything was blowing. It was
Oh my
crazy.
gosh, that was so miserable. I mean, it wasn't miserable. The wind was kind of
Annoying.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime the wind like slightly picked up, we were like holding stuff down.
Yeah, and it was so funny because like we weren't just watching our table; everybody was like
I
watching
know.
everybody's table, so it was funny.
It was funny. It's pretty cool that everybody's like willing to like jump up and help you out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, Now, do you have a time frame on when you want to start the hotel?
I've been doing like research on how long it would take because of course like I would want to do it like immediately, but
Right.
I know that I do have to get education and all that for it. And I did some research on the funding, and it said like with doing a building that is already established, and I just have to do the renovations, I could possibly have it open in the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm hoping that that timeline is like secured. Just because I feel like every time I watch the news, I'm like, if only the hotel was already built, that wouldn't have happened. So I
What do you
mean,
mean like maybe some violence or
yeah. 'Cause the what I like to say for the hotel is that I'm curing problems such as boredom, poverty, and violence. I think that a lot of the problems in our community, with the younger generation and violence, has to do with there's nothing fun to do. So we result in things that bring us entertainment that aren't the safest. Um,
I think that's part of the problem.
yeah, that's
I,
part of it, but if you eliminate that portion, then you
that
kind of
you're
have the
solving
rest of it.
you're solving a problem.
Mhm.
I think another problem, and this is I talked to Megan Church about it, and she's pretty passionate. Is people overreact when they're emotional. You know,
Mhm.
like let's say like my girlfriend broke up with me and now she's dating some other guy. I'm gonna go shoot him because I'm jealous or whatever.
Mhm.
Or there's like some sort of animosity between people like that, and people just react emotionally.
Yeah,
And
and like we don't. Um, I won't say we don't. I just think it's not promoted as well. The resources to help you understand how to handle your emotions. Like we like. There's not a lot of like. At least I know for like my age group and like where I live, my peers and I don't think we have like a lot of resources to where we feel safe to be like, oh, I can go and talk to this person about it. Like, and that problem starts like at school and like with the adults in our community and things like
absolutely.
it's so many problems that like could solve that. So I mean like
How do you think we solve that?
the which part.
The well, the problem with like the adults in our community, the resources for like things that we need, like emotional support for younger kids. How do you
Yeah.
think we solve that? You said
Um.
we go to the schools. So
Yeah.
you think we should have like more guidance counselors or things like that, or
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people they won't go through the school because it's kind of like already like a broken trust kind of thing. So being having like there's a lot of organizations out there that will help, but everyone's just not aware of
right,
like
right,
of that they will help you. So
yeah,
like being able to promote each other. I just saw a post on Facebook and it's like the best businesses are out here and they're not getting promotion because they're not like popular or
really,
so like
like what?
um I think most of those people are mentioning like clothing and things like that, but I
Okay,
say for everything there's like a couple businesses that I see that I'm like that page like they aren't like getting the support that they should get, and like they're out here doing a lot of work. So just making sure that we spread the love with all these businesses because you
mhm,
never know what person might need your service or that service or their service,
yeah,
just so that we all can get the services that we need because even if like me and you were doing like the same thing, um, you might not be able to connect with that person like I can connect
Mhm.
with them. So me being able to see that I have these two options that are offering the same thing
Yep.
because you're promoting both of us, it's like, okay, I'll rather go to her because I might be a girl and I feel like that girl
Right.
can understand me a little more.
Yep.
So just being able to like promote each other no matter what differences we have or what
Yeah.
our businesses are, and then the adults being able to like get involved in the community a little better, even those that are involved in the community already, I see a lot of them, um, like like I said, not getting the support that they should when they're hosting events, um, that are trying to solve these issues. And if we could just like attend those events so that they
Mhm.
can know like not to give up, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, only 5 people came, I'm not gonna do it anymore. But really, like, although 5 people came, there's like 10 people that are watching you, and they
Right.
need you to keep going.
Yep.
So just being able to support each other, I think that would also help.
Well, I think, and you brought up a good point about, you know, like, somebody may connect with me that might not connect with you or
Mhm.
whatnot. And that's one reason why I started this podcast, and the reason why it's kind of gone the way it's gone, um, with me like interviewing these local business owners like you or like Jeremy or Erica. I interviewed Erica,
Yeah.
like, and then I interviewed somebody, and then I interviewed somebody else, and I realized that they didn't get along. And it's kind of interesting to find these things out. But the thing is like this is a mutual platform for everybody, like local business owners, people who I've never, there's a lot of these like your business or Jeremy's business, all these businesses that the people I've interviewed, I've never heard of any of these businesses
Mhm.
before I started doing this podcast. Which is insane. I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I not hearing about this? I live here in Lansing. Why do I not know about these things?
Yeah.
Because like I thought Lansing was much smaller than what it was.
And you're
And
like, that's like, we're like, oh, we don't have anything and we don't
yeah,
have this and we don't have that. And I tell a lot of people, like, if you like reach out and you like join this group or you join that
yeah,
group, or
yeah,
you watch that podcast, like, you'll see like we actually have a lot to offer. We have a lot of talent,
right.
we have a lot of resources. We just aren't like aware of all of it.
It's not mainstream,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy that it's
Mhm.
not. And like the Fledge, like why isn't that more known?
Yeah.
Like I didn't. I mean, I guess I'm out of the know on a lot of things, but the Fledge is an amazing thing for young aspiring entrepreneurs or people who just need some guidance in life, and
Yeah.
people who I guess just want to go and hang out. They could probably hang out and watch other people, and the way they are handling their business, and they can probably learn things whether or not they want to be an entrepreneur or not. Um, so yeah, there's so many different things in our community that can create, or that rather can help people. Punks for Lunch was another one that I had never heard about.
Yeah.
And don't they kind of like mentor people?
I'm not exactly sure like all of what they do. I definitely need to do more research on them. I did like hear about them through the Fledge though.
Okay,
Um,
they were
but
at that event we were at.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like when I heard of them, I'm like, this is pretty cool. But yeah, I that's something like even them like that's a resource that we all need to. I think I've seen them on the news before as well. So
okay,
I mean, but we have to think about it. Like a lot of people don't use the news. A
right,
lot of people
right.
don't have cell phones. So I mean,
Who
it's
doesn't
kind of
who
hard
doesn't
for
have a
us.
cell phone?
I mean like the younger kids, or like
Oh.
the some people don't have like Wi-Fi and
Oh,
things
okay.
like that. So
I was
when
gonna
we
say,
think of like the people that actually need those resources, like
right.
they don't have the resources that they need to know about those
Yeah, they
resources.
don't know how to find them.
Yeah.
It's not mainstream for them to just be able to like type in on Google, like, I don't know, whatever they need.
Yeah, so it's like that's why it's important for us to have like a place where we could be like, okay, I need this. Let me see if I can go over there, and like maybe they
Right.
have like a table with cards or a bulletin board or something where I can like see this flyer because I need clothes or something. So
And that's why, like, when I do episodes, I share on my social media, and then I also share on the 517 page because it's our community,
Yeah.
and I try real hard to like give a description of what that person does and like what their goals are.
Yeah.
That way, like if somebody's scrolling by and they're like, oh, they read it for a second, like, oh, that sounds interesting, I want to know more, and they'll watch that interview,
Yeah.
and then they learn about these different resources in our town. I've had many people reach out and be like, dude, I didn't know that was available, or I didn't know about that, or I didn't know about this. It's
Right.
pretty cool.
And even if they like do watch it and they're like, "Oh, I don't need that." They might be able to be like, "Hey, did you know
Yeah.
that like they're doing this and
Right.
that person that they just mentioned it to needs it." So like it's always that's another thing like in the 517 group to always make sure like you're interacting with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people are like I Sarah's like always posting like make sure you're interacting and you're not just like posting and like
She was
that
talking
is
about that
like
on here.
so important because I actually like when I found out about the pledge, I found out because Katie posted in the group and
Mm.
I like usually I would have sorry, I would have scrolled past too, but like I stopped and I read that post and like it ended up it taught me a lesson to like make sure you're reading those posts. Like some of them like even though I can't like be like, "Hey, I like gained something from it." Like I can
Mm-hmm.
like promote you or I can tell you,
Right.
"Hey, go there. That place can offer it at a discounted rate or something." So,
Well, and you did that. You shared my stuff on Facebook, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like
yeah.
I love it when people are like, hey, go check him out or go check out Horizon Above, and I'm like, yes. I love that. I love
yeah.
getting exposure. I love it when people are supportive of the podcast, and I love supporting other
Mhm.
businesses like yours, and there's so many others that I think highly of and I want to support.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's real cool that everybody in the community is kind of like helping each other. Like, and that I can't remember who I was talking to about that, but we kind of just touched on it too. But like competition, like nobody's competing with each other. It's like you're not trying to do better than somebody else. You're just trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah, you should
And
be trying to do better than yourself. Yeah.
exactly. And then by people seeing you, they want to do better. And
Mhm.
then they maybe want your help on something, and you'll help them, and then or you'll need their help, and they'll help you, and just it's a really tight knit community. It's kind of cool,
Mhm.
especially like a lot of the businesses that have come out of the Fledge.
Yeah. And it's really cool to like see how many businesses have come from the pledge
How
or
many do you think?
um I don't even know like just to see like the businesses like when I first it was like a good like 5 or 6 so like when I first joined they were like there and now like I'm seeing them like they're all over and they're doing so great and now there's like this next 5 or 6 that's joining so I feel like it's a like reoccurring thing and like although they grow and they expand they're always within the fledge
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure are you in the fledglings group.
I don't think so.
It's a fledglings group. If you're not in it, I'll invite you to
Okay.
it. But
Cool.
it's a super cool group through the fledge and like just by looking at those numbers you can see like how many people are like coming out of the fledge, whether they're businesses or people that like just needed the help from the pledge. And I think that group might have like 500 people in it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly sure, but like it there is quite a few, and I mean just to see those numbers
Wow.
that shows to you like on social media how many people they've helped. So
Wow. Yeah, I think it's real important to have a place like that
yeah.
because, like, I mean, having a place like that and then having a book like Behind the Hustle,
Mhm.
like for instance, if I would have read this when I was in high school, I probably would have thought more about like what I wanted. But maybe not because I was in a different position than a lot of people. Like I was kind of I moved out when I was 17 and I was forced to into adulthood. Like I just had to make it. I just
Yeah.
had to get a job and then get a better job and then get a better job. And
Mhm.
eventually I got a good job. And then I, then that like whole unhappy like life. I hate my job. I want a different job. I want to do something that actually has meaning.
Mhm.
That starts to set in, and that happens with a lot of people. And I actually was talking to somebody on the podcast that they went to MSU for an engineering degree, Oh, it was Erin. She owns Abundance Cafe.
Okay.
Was it her? It might have been her. I don't want to say that for sure now, but I think it was her. She went to MSU for I think it was her, and she doesn't use her degree. And I think she said she liked engineering, but the thing is a lot of people go to college for these degrees and they spend lots of money on them, and they don't really know for sure that that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And then they get 5 years into their career, and they're like, I hate this, but they're stuck because they have the student debt now,
Yep.
and they just have to pay. They just have to make it. They just have to pay their bills and support their family and what have you. And they
Yeah.
just kind of get stuck in this lifestyle.
Mhm.
And so I think something like this is important, and I think something like the Fledge is very important because then it helps people who are aspiring entrepreneurs. Somebody who reads your book coming out of high school might be like, oh, maybe I should go to the Fledge. I have ideas.
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to, kind of see other aspiring entrepreneurs, other people who are entrepreneurs, and they'll get that community support, and then they'll be able to learn a lesson or two from your book.
Yeah. And just like learning from each other, like
Y-
you said, to see the inspiring entrepreneurs, or like everyone has like these super cool stories that you're like,
Yeah,
wait, you did that and you were like in that situation. So
yeah,
like that'll be like super cool for everyone to see, like no matter what position you are in at that time, like you can still figure out a way to be great in the end. So
right. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Um, Now, real quick, I think we're creeping up on an hour. Yeah, 55 minutes.
That went fast.
They did go fast. um, I felt like at first it was a little rocky. Like we weren't quite sure where to go with it. Um,
Yeah.
but it always, I feel like it loosened up a little bit and we were able to have a good conversation. So, again, people can find your book on Amazon. They
Mhm.
just type in Behind the Hustle
Yep.
and they can order it and you ship it out directly.
It'll ship through Amazon,
So,
so you can ship it through if you have Prime, it'll do Prime and
okay.
all that.
So did you sell it to like a um what would they call them, like a
Uh,
editor or
like a book publisher or
yeah, a book
something.
publisher? Did you sell it?
Nope.
No.
I did everything myself with like my teacher helping me, and then the writing coach helping me and everything.
So whenever somebody buys this, you get paid directly.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And
Cool.
if you buy it through Amazon, I they take a couple of the proceeds out and
Right.
like that. But other than that, I'll get paid directly, and all the money goes to the program. So
Oh, cool. And then if people want to join your course, can they still do that?
the course is not open yet.
Okay.
So right now, and I'm just teaching through the community center, through the homeschool for the homeschooled kids,
Mm.
and that's just like giving me like a way to be able to say, okay, this is for sure gonna work, and
They're
then
the guinea pigs.
yeah.
We'll test it out on those homeschool folks.
And then like next summer or spring, like I'll actually launch the right program
What's your goals with that?
with the program.
Yeah, with Behind the Hustle.
I feel like it's just a goal of like being able to tell the next generation. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I want my kids to be like you." Or I want my kid to do what you're doing, and I don't want that because I feel like we never should say we want to be like this person or we want to be like that person. We should want to be like our own self because we never know the obstacles that that person is enduring that made them the way that they are. So I want like each kid that's taking the course to understand, like, I know life might be hard for you right now and it might be easy for you right now, but like you can somehow be in the position that you're supposed to be in. You're not probably not supposed to be in the position that I'm in.
Right.
So I want them to be able to read the book and take the course and be like, okay, this is what I want to do, or okay, I'm going straight forward and I'm gonna reach for this goal, even though I know I'm a little scared to reach for it. I'm gonna take that chance and things like that. So I just want to be able to give kids the courage and determination that I have.
So is the course going to be something that you can teach somebody entrepreneurship, where what is the course exactly?
So the course, although they will be reading from the book and doing activities and things from the book,
Mhm.
the way that I would set it up is, for example, if you applied to the program, you'll put what career you think you're interested in,
Okay.
and we'll start from there by researching that career, and I'll schedule you a job shadow with that career and things like that,
Hmm.
so that you can see that specific career and
Okay.
teach you some life lessons that we don't learn in school, and different things like that. So then at the end of the program, you can say, well, I went in wanting to be a lawyer, but now I think I don't want to do that. I want to be a doctor instead. I just said a career, but I want to be a doctor instead. So you're like, you made up your mind. I mean, you might change it down the line, but at least
Right.
you were able to say, I know I don't want to do that one anymore because I
Right.
watched someone do it. I heard what someone that's in that position that I want to be in tell me, like, hey, this is hard, this is like easy, this is,
Mhm.
and I was able to take that advice and say, like, I don't think that's for me, because
Right.
we like usually we're the guinea pigs for our own career. We're like, okay, I want to do this and I'm just going to dive into it, and then like
Yep.
by the end of it we're like, I hate this. So it'll be easier to be able to go through the program learning it, and that's why I say it's for kids that are like just getting out of high school or going to college, or middle
Mhm.
schoolers who could be like, yeah, okay, I think I'm going to change what I want to major, or that might even help you like decide what you want to do for college. So
Right.
what college you want to go to, I mean. So like,
I think that's a huge problem that we have in our schooling system is that we don't put enough emphasis on what kids actually want to do.
mhm.
And we like glorify all these jobs like police officer, or fireman, or lawyer, doctor, or whatever. But those are like fringe jobs. Like not many people do those type of jobs.
Yeah.
Generally, most people, depending on the communities, work at like in a factory, or they work like a blue collar type job, or they work in a fast food place or whatnot. We don't actually prepare people for like the real world and what jobs they might actually like in those particular fields. And so I think something like this would be great. And I don't understand why schools haven't like implemented something like this.
Yeah.
Are you is that all at all a goal for you? Is to try to work with maybe Lansing School District and see if this they would implement this in like junior high and middle school, or middle school and high school?
Yeah, I mean, of course, being able to get it in the hands of as many kids as possible would be the goal. Right now, I'm just trying to like go slow with it. Like I said, to make sure that it's right. Sometimes
Hmm.
you're like, all right, this book is just for like this handful of kids. So I might somewhere down the line have to write a different book that like expands who the audience is
Right, of
for.
course.
Just to make sure that each kid is getting as much as they can out of it. Um, I just want to be able to make sure that um, I'm not promoting just entrepreneurship. And like I said,
Right.
in the book, it's kind of more so I'm speaking of entrepreneurship since that's what I'm educated on. But
Hmm.
as I go through life, I'm sure I would learn more about other careers to where I can also write about, any career that a child might want to take. And I could possibly do job shadows and things so that I am educated on those topics, just
Right.
so that kids know you don't have to just do entrepreneurship
Right.
and be glorified. Like, it doesn't mean that you failed if you're not an entrepreneur.
Right, exactly. And I think that one thing that like particularly I think schools should do is figure out what kids are interested in.
Yep.
Like what kind of things do you like to do?
Mhm.
Because I mean, yeah, you might say you want to be a police officer, but do you really want to be a police officer, or do you like to, I don't know, like do you like to hula hoop? I had Nat Spins on a few weeks ago, and she makes a living hula hooping.
Yeah. And
It's
see, that's like another thing. Like, when we're at school, they tell you, like, you're not going to make a living off of drawing.
right.
But then we get
Yeah.
out here and we're like,
People are doing it.
People are like making a living as being an artist, or like
Right.
simply drawing the street signs, like
Right.
random stuff that like they don't tell you in school. So I mean, even if like it was possible to make behind the hustle an elective
Yep.
to where kids can understand, I can discover these different careers, because like I knew I had an idea on what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what like I mean, we all have this narrative of what a business owner looks like,
Right.
and
Suit and
I
tie.
didn't know I didn't know that that was possible for all of us to be business owners. So
Right.
being able to do that project and see that it's possible, that would be very impactful for kids to know that no matter, we're in little old Lansing, as they say, and like we can do these big dreams that we have.
Right. Absolutely. With that, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Again, go ahead and order Behind the Hustle on Amazon. And even if you're not interested in it and you're an adult and you have a kid who might be interested in it, order it for them. How much is it on Amazon?
On Amazon, it is 15.
15? Yeah, it's cheap.
And it does come just so like you could get right into your like journaling. It comes with a pen.
Oh, sweet.
So
And it matches Hustle on the cover
on
of the
the
book.
book.
That's really cool. All right, well, thank you for being here. I hope everything works out for you, and I look forward to seeing what comes of the hotel. I think that our community needs something, a community center / like fun center, whatever you plan on putting in. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
'Cause I just think we need more of everything,
Mhm.
regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
We just need more support for everything.
Yeah, and we need more small businesses.
We do.
And so we
We
can
do.
grow them and make them big businesses. So
Exactly. Exactly.
if you're watching this, start that business. So
All right. Thank you.
no problem.